episode 10 opens up with Jonathan, like a flashback of Jonathan, sorry, which really matches with the recap as well of the previous episode. So they sort of had it transition into a flashback, which I thought was really cool. It's basically Jonathan arriving at Edom and just being like all very innocent and confused. And that's where him and Lilith first meet, and at first it felt very sweet because she was trying to, like, you know, mother him and be like, I love you and everything like that, and then she ended up burning him, which I was just like, now we know why he's so twisted. Apart from having a father like Valentine, he had a very demonic mother who burned him on his first arrival to Edom. So stand up mother there. And we sort of open up as well with Jace arriving back in New York with Clara, and at first she doesn't try to escape, but then she does try and like reach out to Jace and be like to him, I love you, please come back, and everything like that. And then she headbutts Jace, or Owl Jace, and tries to make an escape for it, but then Owl Jace catches up with her and stops her and be's like, you don't do that again, you're annoying. And as this is happening, Luke is trying to find... Did I not mention that Luke was caught by the police in the last episode? No, I didn't. Basically, the police are investigating Luke due to the murders and everything like that, especially what happened in the last 2 previous seasons. So he's under investigation in that, and he had to give his gunning badge to them, which I found very annoying, because I was just like, God, guys, stop being idiots. He clearly didn't do these murders. Get over yourselves. With Maurice, I can't even pronounce her name, but she goes with Alec and Isabel's mother to try and track down Clara, because she's at this point she's managed to get a glass bottle and just like leave a trail of blood of where she's going, which I thought was very clever. I was like, you go girl, show them who's boss. And at that point Magnus has arrived at Edom after having a very emotional goodbye with Alec, because, you know, this is what us Malik fans needed. And oh my god, that kiss goodbye, it was just like, oh my god, my heart just stopped. My heart just stopped by thinking of that goodbye kiss. But anyway, Magnus has arrived in Edom, and oh my god, his father, he's very intimidating, but his presence is like very overwhelming, and it makes you feel comforted but also intimidated. And it's just, he has this presence that it just you can't stop looking at him, which is the same with Magnus in a way, so you know where Magnus gets it from. And well, they have a little bit of a reminiscence over the past, and Magnus was like, I don't know what I did, I didn't really know what I was doing when I was a kid, because I was a kid, which is understandable. And Modius is a bit disappointed that he didn't want to come and join him again, and then it gets into the point of what Magnus wants from him, and he comes in rage at first, saying and Modius is just like, well, you left me and you're not apologising, so I'm not helping you, basically. And I keep getting names mixed up. Magnus is just like to him, if you were my father and you really loved me, you would do this for me. But obviously Asmodeus doesn't work that way, so Magnus is just like, okay, what do you want? And at first Asmodeus is just like, come and join me again, and I'll give you the power to stop him. And Magnus, feeling like the past repercussions of what he did when he was a kid, obviously said no, there has to be something else. And obviously there is. And they cut off at that point. I was like, excuse me, I need to know what this deal is. And we do later on, but we won't get into that just now. As this is happening, Simon is going through the very emotional ordeal of dealing with the repercussions of the last episode with Heidi and everything. And I literally cried, well not literally, but I nearly cried at how accepting his sister was. And obviously I hope we see her more in the next part of the season, and her and Simon bonding over the shadow world and everything like that. And yeah, she seems like a great sister, and I wish I had like a sister like that. But what's really teared me up though was Simon compelling his mum to think that he was dead. And I literally, it was so sad, and props to Alberto's acting there, because it just choked me up, because I was just like, oh my god, this is so sad. But at the same time, you knew it had to be done, because this wasn't the first time, Eileen? I don't know. It wasn't the first time his mother reacted badly to the news, because she did find out at some other point as well, and she reacted badly as well. So it was probably best for her mental state as well as just shh that she thought was Simon was dead. So yeah, it's really sad, but at the same time you understand. But what I liked about it all was just that Isabel was there for him, and she hugged him, and she was just like, I'm here for you, and everything like that. Oh, it was so nice. That part was so nice anyway. And just then it leads into what's happening next. And what's happening next is that everyone has found out where Lilith is because of Clara, and everyone is hoping to strike at the place to stop Lilith and get Jace back and get Clara back as well. Simon joins along because of his Mark of Cain, which we learned about in the previous episode as well, but I already knew what it was. Shush. I already knew. But because of his Mark of Cain, he has a better chance up against Lilith, so he joins everyone at saving Clara and Jace. And during this time as well, Clara has a bit of a talk with Lilith after she witnesses her making out with Jace, which I felt was just like really unnecessary, but at the same time I like to see the anger on Clary's face. She was just like, lovely. But yeah, she gets into a bit of a talk with Lilith, and she finds out how Jonathan's going to come back to life, and basically he's going to live through her Clary's life force, which spoiler alert for people who haven't read the books, this is a bit of a big difference between the books. It's still the same in some way, but it's a big difference because the life force that Jonathan shared with in the books was actually Jace, and that was because Jace had come back to life, like in the TV series. Jace had come back to life with the will of the angel, so he had a bit more vulnerability than anyone else, so that Jonathan can link up with him. However, I have seen people a bit mad at this adaptation or this change in the TV series, and everyone should be like, it should be Jace, not Clara. I actually don't mind it, mainly because it does make a little bit more sense than it did in the books, and here's my reasoning. Clara and Jonathan have a blood connection. They're brother and sister, and they came out of the same womb, and they have the same parents. Well, human / Shadowhunter parents. So I get the change there, because either way, even if you still did it with Jace, there would still be a connection, because Jace would have a vulnerability to him. But at the same time, I like that they did it with Clara, and I'm glad they have a bit of a difference this time, because you don't want to be exactly as the same in the books. You want to shock the audience, and this is exactly how they did it. So I'm not mad about it. I'm actually really excited about it, because throughout this part of the season, we've seen Jace be possessed, and this has been great for Dominic's acting. I keep forgetting people's names. Dominic's acting. I really think the next part of the season will be just as interesting, with Clara somewhat being possessed, being brainwashed by Jonathan. And yeah, I think it's just gonna I think Kat's acting is going to shine in the next part of the season, which it already has in this part as well, but I think she's going to be really challenged in the next part, because it's taken up a role that I think would be great for the character, and a great character development as well. So yeah, all in all, I'm not really that disappointed. I actually think it's quite interesting, and an interesting take from the books. So I'm not mad about it. And because she's linking up Clara and Jonathan, she gets the rune on, very painfully, on her chest to link them up, and it does the same thing to Jonathan's body. And yeah, so Jonathan's going to be resurrected because of Clara. And a little bit, we have the epic fight between not Jace and Magnus. The reason I call this an epic fight is mainly because the acting, once again, was absolutely brilliant. Dominic killed it, as well as Matthew. There we go, I'm getting there. As well as Matthew, they both killed it, because honestly, I could feel the pain of Alec having to fight his parasite, but at the same time, he wanted to kill him to save Jace any more misery. And honestly, when Owl Jace snapped Alex's hand or arm, I was like, oh my god, this is why I wouldn't be a doctor or a nurse, because I wouldn't be able to put up with this. See, it was really emotional, and Alec came so close to death. I was just like, I was panicking at one point, because I was like, oh my fucking god, they're not actually going to kill him, are they? But luckily, Magnus made his dramatic entrance and shot the magic at Jace to get him out of his demon possession. And luckily and happily for us, he did, and he came back just in time to help his parasite, hopefully, because he used the healing rune on him. We don't actually see if he recovers. And just at that point as well, when Jace asked Magnus to fix, Magnus to fix Alec, he's like, I can't. I traded my powers to save you. So I don't know what this means. Does this mean that he's not a warlock anymore, or is he still immortal but without any powers? I have no idea what this means, but hopefully we'll be probably finding out in the next part of the season. But I also thought it was pretty rude because they left us on a cliffhanger with both Magnus and Alex. I don't know if Alex okay. Okay? I don't know if he's okay. I hope he is, and they better not kill him off, because I will start a petition. Yeah. So in the last moments of this episode, we mainly focus on Simon, Jace and Clara and Lilith. We do see some brief scenes with Luke and Isabel, but they're just fighting off the demon-possessed people downstairs. So it's nothing really big happening with them. Clara, she's she's like aggravatingly waiting for Lilith to be done with whatever she's doing at that point, I don't know. And then Simon luckily comes in to save her, and just as he's about to get her out of there, she's like, nope, we're going to stop her from bringing back my brother. And then they had this brilliant moment where they're like, Jonathan? No, Sebastian. What, same two brothers? No, same person. My confusion right there earlier. And the confusion of the whole book fan, so it's just like, what? Simon agrees to help Clara stop Lilith from bringing her brother back by using the Mark of Cain. So Clara awesomely distracts her by hitting her with the sunlight rune, and Simon tries to bang open the Jonathan's little coffin thing to get Lilith to attack him, which she does, and she gets hit with the Mark of Cain. And at that moment, it's a slow motion moment where Simon gets thrown out the window due to the blast, and at this point as well, Jace is finding up his way to the top floor to get to Clara and save her, and also at the same time, Clara is running to try and save Simon, but she isn't able to reach him in time because she is stopped by something, and that something is an arm from Jonathan's coffin. He is alive. He is brought back to life. And just as Clara is trying to get him off of her, and is clearly in shock about what's happening, Lilith is then destroyed and explodes the whole top of the building. I was like, oh my god. And at this point, all the possessed people who are downstairs with Luke and Isabel are all brought back to their normal selves. So they're all like, oh, what happened? What? Then Jace barges is on the top of the floor, screaming Clary's name. She is nowhere in sight. The whole thing is pretty much destroyed. And just as we're wondering what happened to Simon, he climbs up from the side of the building. He's okay. He's alive. That's all I care about. Not really, but that's all that's one person safe. And just as Jace is building up some hope that Clara is still alive, Simon breaks the news that he killed her and that she is dead. And the devastation on Jace's face is just, it broke my heart, because just to come back to learn that your girlfriend that you tried to protect is now dead, that must be life-shattering, really. But obviously we all know that she's not dead. There was no indication to that she was alive, but we all know from interviews with Shadowhunters over the last few days that Clara is still alive and is out there somewhere with Sebastian, and she is taking Jace's role from the City of Lost Souls onto her, so she's going to be tied to Jonathan now, and that is going to be very interesting, but we don't know where they are yet, and I really want to know where they are. How dare they just disappear and not let us know where they are. All in all, the last episode of 3A was absolutely amazing. It was mind-shattering, and I can't wait for the next part of this season. And I know it's on August 14th that it's coming out, 10 days after my birthday, so thank you, Shadowhunters, you all love me. I'm really looking forward to the next part, mainly because I've actually seen some behind the scenes photos, and I think this guy called Luke Baines, correct me if I'm wrong, is playing Jonathan now, and I understand people's upset about Will Tudor not being playing Sebastian anymore, but personally I understand it, because Will Tudor had the embodiment of Sebastian Verlek, the original Sebastian Verlek, and so it wasn't really what's his name, Jonathan's true form, and this time we'll see him in his true human form, not the burnt version. So that will be very interesting, and I can't wait to see how he acts. I think, though, the only difference from the books, though, is that he won't be having white hair. Because in the books he had white hair, whereas Sebastian had dark hair because he had to dye it at one point. But he's probably going to have, from what I've seen behind the scenes, is that he has sort of dark red hair like Clara. Well, hers is more brighter than dark. But so he has sort of darkish red hair like his mum, actually. So they sort of still have the same traits, and it sort of goes back to that quote Lilith said in the latest episode. The resemblance between you two is uncanny. So I think they're trying to get a sisterly, brotherly resemblance there, which I like. I'm not complaining. So that is my recap and review of the latest 2 episodes. Tell me what you guys thought of the latest episode. Tell me your grievances, tell me your happiness, tell me your sadness, tell me everything, even the food that you ate during this episode. Until next time, guys, I will be posting possibly more episodes of Shadowhunters like I tried to do in the hiatus up to the upcoming season 3, but I'm going to try and do that for the next couple of weeks as we're waiting for the next part, but I can't make any promises, but I'm going to try. And there will be some more personalised videos coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that as well. But until next time, guys, see ya.